It finally happened, folks. The Toronto Raptors front office, Darko Rajakovic, they gave in as Chris Boucher finally got some run, finally got some minutes. Obviously, us as fans, we're all going to take the credit, even though it's more likely the Toronto Raptors completely are depleted now at this point. Injuries have riddled this team after they've already traded away half their roster. And of course, we know how the end of this season's probably going to go. The Raptors are pursuing that tank for 2024, and we're going to break down all of the latest sort of standings in the race to potentially keep our pick for this season. But the Raptors, even though they lost the Phoenix Suns, even though the Raptors made a fourth quarter comeback, there was some hope at times here at this point, but there were, the Suns had this game in hand for most of it. There were some huge positives beyond Chris Boucher getting some run, getting some minutes in this game. So lots of stuff to break down. But before we do, folks, again, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so we can keep you up to date with all of the latest Toronto Raptors news. But we got to dive into the positives because that's how we're looking at this end of the season, taking the positives from the L's, looking at our young players, seeing how they're developing. And frankly, we got a big one tonight in Emanuel Quickley in particular. Again, Gary Trent Jr., RJ Barrett, two guys that we'll definitely discuss, but Emanuel Quickley, 21 points, 9 of 17 shooting, 2 of 7 from the three-point line. You look at that and you might say, hey, solid scoring night, but Ben, why are you hyping him up? Well, you overlooked that 18 assist stat line, had 9 rebounds, nearly a triple-double for IQ for the Toronto Raptors point guard in this game. And there was some rumblings, when we ended up acquiring Emanuel Quickley, when he was brought into the team, that whether or not he's actually a natural point guard, whether or not he's a guy that can come out and be that sort of lead guard for a team. Obviously playing behind Jalen Brunson. Played on the court at times with Jalen Brunson at the same time, but it was Brunson that was running the PG and then IQ kind of at the 2. So could IQ come out here for the Toronto Raptors as the main guard and lead a group? And we've seen his scoring, we've seen his shooting, we've seen all the stuff he showed over there in New York, but his facilitating, particularly over the past couple weeks, has been fantastic. He's really making an emphasis to get his teammates involved, to get people in the right places, and that's huge, especially for a developing team, a developing group, to have your point guard put players in a position where they can score, they can get their baskets, they can get their games and confidence going. And again, it didn't translate to a victory in tonight's game, but the Toronto Raptors, I thought, offensively performed fairly well in this one. And, a large part are due to IQ setting the platter up for a lot of guys on this team. But Gary Trent Jr. is a dude that does deserve his flowers, does deserve his credit because, again, up and down season without a doubt. He's been all over the place in terms of his stats, in terms of his minutes per game, in terms of opportunities and the shots actually going down for Gary. But overall, through it all, he's been the 40+% three-point shooter this season. And tonight, showing why he can be in a bucket for the Toronto Raptors, right? When Gary's hot, he can really get going. 11 of 22 from the field, 5 of 13 from the three-point line, 30 points. Solid game there from Gary. The rest of it doesn't, show up on the box score too much. No assists again for Gary Trent Jr. in tonight's game, but he's showing why he's a certified bucket and why, at the right price, he could be a valuable sort of scoring piece for the Toronto Raptors in the future. Now, again, the lack of ability in other areas for Gary is the real sort of question mark about his game, whether or not he can be consistent. But it is always a positive. We do always have to give the credit when Gary Trent Jr., when guys like this do have their high moments, because on nights where he sucks, you kind of forget about nights like this where he can just go nuclear. But again, didn't translate to a victory, so we're not going to overreact to it too much. But Gary was good in this one. And then the stable force, the stable presence, the guy that we've been looking to, since that OG Anunoby trade, it's really our most consistent player. And it's RJ Barrett, who was, a guy that was promised to us from Knicks fans. Oh, he's going to be super inconsistent. He's going to be inconsistent. Don't expect him to be good on every single night. Don't expect a lot of positives there. Well, RJ Barrett, with the exception of like 1 or 2 stinkers this season, has been amazing for the Toronto Raptors. And tonight, 23 points, 9 of 16 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. The three-point shooting has been crazy. The only thing that's been a disappointment with RJ Barrett has been the free throws, but the rest of it has been absolutely fantastic, has exceeded expectations. So that's a great thing to see, for a guy that the Raptors are going to be investing a lot in the future. So I'm very, very pumped, to look at these games. And again, you're in sicko mode if you're watching these games at the end of the season. I get it if not a lot of people are watching these, but we're looking for positives. We're looking for reasons to have some optimism, have some hope for next season. And obviously, keep a look at the tank, keep track of everything. And what RJ Barrett specifically did tonight, huge positives, huge positives there for this group. Gary Trent Jr. as well. So, awesome stuff along those lines. But again, the Raptors lost. Nothing was perfect. Kelly Olynyk didn't have the greatest performance. He's got to be able to hit more threes, man. His 3-point percentage has been down in the dumps since he's joined the Toronto Raptors. Now, again, I fully expect that to completely turn around. He's done all the little things well. He still spaces the floor, regardless of if he's hitting or not. But the shots do have to go down at some point for Kelly Olynyk. 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. Abaji, again, dealing with some knee soreness. I know he's dealing with some lower body injuries, so I'm not going to read too much into this. A couple down games efficiency-wise from him, but 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 1 from the 3-point line, only 3 points, 4 rebounds. I still am a big Abaji guy, but 4 fouls, 2 turnovers. You can't argue that this was a good game from him tonight. So that's that. Grady Dick off the bench, 4-10 from the 3-point line. Didn't do a whole much else out there on the court, but was fine with his performance. And Javon Freeman-Liberty, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Could have made a couple more shots, could have had a little bit more of an impact. Again, the Raptors, we are lacking depth right now. We are injured to the bone. Bruce Brown, Jakob Poeltl, Scotty Barnes, all out with injuries, and as well as DJ Carton. So, it was tough. Jalen McDaniels also was sick in this game as well. But Boucher off the bench finally got an opportunity, finally got some run, and 24 minutes, had 11 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Just got some buckets, hustled out there on the court, and showing why he should be a staple in the Toronto Raptors rotation, regardless of you're tanking or not. I get what people are saying. I get that the Raptors are moving in a younger direction. I understand the logic there, but especially when your team is depleted, when you don't have anyone in the front court, and you're running, deep G League players, a bunch of minutes over a guy that's been a consistent role player in the NBA. It's just a bad look on, how you're treating sort of your vets that could potentially get dealt, and you're just nuking his trade value. Chris Boucher is a guy that should be at least getting us a second, should be at least getting us something out there on the open market, especially as an expiring contract. You bench him, he struggles like this, then there's not going to be a whole lot that you're going to be able to do. So, Chris Boucher, happy that he had got an opportunity, happy he played in this one. But again, the Toronto Raptors made it exciting, a good development game for the Raptors, making that push. Again, the tank is what the team is pursuing now to close off this year. So I'm fine with that. So I'm not worried about wins or losses. I'm looking at the guys that are looking to be cornerstones of the Toronto Raptors playing well. So that's my takeaway from the game, but a little update regarding the tank situation right now, because we are getting back. We're making that push. Desmond Bane, I might have to make a graphic for to be a part of the Desmond Bane fan club, because he's getting the Memphis Grizzlies a couple wins. The Raptors are losing. We might be able to pass them in terms of getting to that bottom 6. And man, maybe the Raptors can make a late season push to catch the Portland Trailblazers and get to the bottom 5 and really maximize their chances of keeping that pick, because as we know, it has to fall in the top 6 in order for the Toronto Raptors to keep their draft selection for this season. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully the Pacers lose some games too, and we get 2 lottery picks. That's the dream right now, for the future of this team. But we'll see how it all shakes out. But folks, you guys are the best to make it this far. Appreciate everyone that's watching the vids. I'm signing out. Cheers.